You have just been invaded by...
Hey there guys, this is DJ Slope from Slope's Game Room and you're listening to Slope's Cast, the retro gaming news show recorded live on Twitch on the 11th of February 2021. In today's episode we're going to be chatting about Gamesmaster, the legendary video game show coming back to our screens, Lunark, the upcoming indie game that takes pretty much all of its inspiration from Flashback, a new indie shmup which is a crossover of Cuphead and 90's Cartoon Network shows, Crash Bandicoot 4 making its way over to other systems, CD Projekt Red getting hacked, the creator of Rez teasing his new game, and of course our Kickstarter link of the week, which is Battle Axe. All of that on today's episode, with my co-host Grizzly Crichton and special guests Larry Bundy Jr., Mike Towns and King Monkey. If you like the podcast and you want to be in for a chance to be on a future episode, then please do consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. And if you have any particular news stories you would like us to cover, then please do let us know in the dedicated room over on Discord. But right now, let's get on with the show. So let's get into this, and actually, you know what? It's a pretty good thing that we got Mr. Larry Bundy Jr., aka Guru Larry here, aka DJ Slope, aka Kim Justice, aka every other British YouTuber, because the first topic we're going to be chatting about today...
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Top Hat Gamer Man, sorry, I didn't mean to forget him.
And him, the one we do not talk about.
Let's chat about Gamesmaster, Larry.
Let's.
Now, growing up in the 90's, Gamesmaster was something I always forgot was on, but when I did remember, it was a pretty big moment when I was allowed to watch it. Like, pretty exciting stuff. And the last great British TV gaming show, would you say?
Well, apart from the ones I presented, yeah.
They're all right.
Fuck off. We go there. They're all right.
Well, it might be coming back.
Really? What?
It looks like it is coming back.
My show's coming back?
Not your TV show, Larry. No.
Oh, I had my hopes up there.
Gamesmaster might be coming back. Grizzly, tell us a little bit more.
So, Channel 4 is currently shopping the idea. It's going to potentially go onto the E4 channel. God knows who's going to replace Patrick Moore. But we'll get to the discussion part after this. But yeah, so the idea is that instead of having the usual like challenge system where the public come up and play against like I think it's was it Videators, or am I thinking it's something completely thing?
No, they just play challenge against times and stuff, and
yeah,
Dominic
that's
Domin's
right, yeah. Yeah, which was sharp as a knife. Instead, they're talking about bringing along celebrities to take part in the challenges. That'd be the usual Gamesmaster tropes of races, fights, and virtual battles across dual genres of gaming under the watchful eye of the all-knowing Gamesmaster. And each week, at least one celeb will be eliminated. And over the 3 episodes, 5 will become one, and the winner will be crowned. They'll play each other at everything from iconic classics to brand new releases. And there's plenty more to come in the near future, provided that they can get the partners that they're looking for. So, interesting.
It is interesting, and instantly, you know, my mind gets to very excited. Great, new gaming TV show, you know, it's never a bad thing. But at the same time, I'm imagining what it was like, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I think it's great when they're playing on, like, you know, the Mega Drive and all these old systems, and that's not what it's going to be, is it? That's just totally not what it's going to be. And I think if they do go modern, which obviously they should, the whole aesthetic of the show is going to be modern, and I feel like it's going to lose its touch unless they keep it retro or at least have a bit of both. At first I was excited about it, but the more I thought about it, I'm just a bit like, do I want this to happen? What about you, King Monkey? Do you want this to happen?
Yeah, I think anything that gets games on TV is fine. Like you say, it's not going to be the same format. It's unrealistic because basically to get the same audience, it's not going to happen. The only people who'd be interested in that is like the retro gaming community, which isn't large enough to make it like viable as a financial thing to put to a TV producer, is it? So they've got to make some, let's just say, changes to that format. I think if they can mix it, it'll work. but it all depends on how well it's done. Obviously, if it was me, I'd just put everything in 16 via 9 via RF cable just to see how many people give you some publicity on the first episode.
Put it through the CRT filter.
You've actually got one of the golden joysticks, haven't you, Larry?
I got 2 of them now.
Oh, wow.
You collect them.
Yeah, I'm like the Highlander of joysticks.
Nice.
I got to play a little bit of your joystick when I came over to see you. I remember last time.
Yeah,
That was...
you said you wouldn't bring this up. You specifically said you wouldn't bring this up.
It's especially on the Slopes cast of all venues.
It's all coming out now. Including Larry's golden joystick. So, Larry, are you excited for this?
No, absolutely not.
Is it a reboot or a new?
It's Gamesmaster in name only. I mean, what?
Yeah.
I reckon. I mean, Dominic Diamond's not been asked to be involved. Patrick Moore's dead. And like I said, none of the original people involved have anything to do with this thing. It's name only. It's going to be exactly like that Rob Beckett's Playing for Time that came out last year that died on its arse. It's that.
I literally didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, okay.
Or Dara O'Brien's going 8-bit.
Well, that was fairly decent until they started pushing poor old Steve, what's his name, out of the market and going solely focused on sort of celebrities that have clearly got absolutely nothing interested in video games.
Yeah.
So it's going to be this sort of...
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a vehicle for a bunch of bloody stand-up comedians yet again.
Russell Howard.
Or that Ramil Ramesh and people like that, because he's not on television every 5.5 nanoseconds. He is. He's like every other bloody show. It was him. No, it's going to be a load of, like I said, it's going to be a load of probably either ex Big Brother contestants or people on Celebrity Love Island and shit like that who come together, got no interest in video games. That's just going to be the crux for it. So then again, people are going to come out, and everybody's going to come out and say, "Oh, well, terrible it is," and then it's going to convince television that once again that nobody wants a TV show about video games because nobody wants this crap on television. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, there's also a very fundamental difference between Gamesmaster in the 90s and now, and that is pretty much everything gaming related, whether it be retro gaming or modern gaming, is done through YouTube. I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of shows which either take the Gamesmaster concept or have completely rendered it redundant because you have all of these bedroom creators or the content creators just creating shows of their own.
After saying that, I'm also in the mind of the fact that they're using the Gamesmaster name also makes me think that they might try and make it more tailored towards that retro crowd that know what Gamesmaster is. It's really, really... I'm very excited. Obviously, I'm going to watch it to at least see what it's like. But I am worried, as much as I love Jimmy Carr, I am worried it's going to be a Jimmy Carr run show. No,
it's not. It's Channel 4. It's going to be presented by Richard O'Ady, isn't it?
I was just thinking that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a legal requirement that every show has to be presented by Richard O'Ady.
I'm just waiting for that tech monocle to come up on Moss's face. It's going to happen.
Well, I'm worried it's going to be some, like you say, some stand-up comedian that takes the piss out of gamers presenting a gaming show. You know what I mean?
Oh, look at these nerds. They're all nerds.
Exactly. And
to be fair, that's not too dissimilar from Dominic Diamond.
So, I mean, it doesn't sound like, Gamesmaster coming back. Great news, big news. As soon as I heard it, I thought incredible. But now I'm sitting on a podcast with 5 guys that all remember it fondly. Mike Towns, did you grow up watching Gamesmaster?
They didn't have it over here, but now I see the logo. Did they make a magazine of it?
Yes, they did. Yeah. Long running, very long running.
Yeah, they sold that over here.
So going down the list here, starting with Grizzly, out of say like 5, how excited are you? Is 5 being the most excited?
It's got to be a 2. I mean, with that description, the celebrity video game related thing. I can see where it's going to go, or at least where I think it's going to go. The only thing that really stands out to me as a plus point is the fact that they mentioned classic games in the press release.
Okay.
Those retro games like Fortnite.
Yeah. But like SSX Tricky and all of that. But the thing that with you don't have Dominic Diamond, you don't have Patrick Moore, and you probably might not get Dave Perry either.
Don't even have Dexter Fletcher.
You can't have your Gamesmaster without that classic Dave Perry moment, I think.
Out of 5, Larry, where do you stand, man?
One. I just dread it.
Oh, you are fully not bothered.
No, it's like I said, it's Gamesmaster in name only. I mean, it's like I might as well start a YouTube channel and put Gamesmaster on it. It's just as related.
Master Larry.
What about you, King Monkey?
Yeah, I'll put it at 3. I'll just stay optimistic, but it's just, like I say, it's another Rob Beckett type thing, isn't it, really? So don't get your hopes up, set the bar low, and then you never know. You could be pleasantly surprised.
I'm probably around about the same as you, if I'm honest, around that 3-ish mark. Because I'm optimistic just to see, how it goes. Okay, so moving over to topic 2, Lunark. Now, this is something that popped up recently when I was browsing on Steam for something new. Lunark is an 80s and 90s classic-inspired 2D platformer. And when I say inspired, it's essentially Flashback. Pretty much the same game. Even the way that the actual character moves around and everything, it looks so incredibly similar. And there's not really much to say about this. It's coming out a little bit later on this year, including onto the Switch. Other than the fact that I'm actually very excited for it, I'm definitely going to be picking it up. Flashback is obviously a fantastic game, massively groundbreaking. I'm going to be picking it up. Has anybody else here checked this one out? Grizzly, you've obviously looked this up as well.
Yeah, this is completely my kind of wheelhouse. I love that pixelated rotoscope style. I remember seeing it in games like Desert Child, and of course I grew up with the likes of Another World or Out of This World for the Americans in the room. And of course Flashback. And I don't know, it's got that 80s like sci-fi aesthetic down. And it goes for cinematics with really simple sprites. The only thing I'm not too keen on is its potential overuse of like dialogue or narrative. I do like it when games like this just tell a story without like necessarily telling you the story. But there's clearly a lot to like about the way they've approached the aesthetics here. So yeah, I'm very excited to see how this one ends up.
For sure. Have you had a chance to have a look at it, Gary? Guru Larry.
Gary. Oh, you almost slipped up there.
Hello, Gary.
Yeah, I have not. No, unfortunately not. No.
That's the end of that for you then. King Monkey, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I saw the video on YouTube. It does look good. I'm not a massive person into Flashback and Another World and stuff, just because of the time it takes to get through them. So I've never played them properly. But it does look one of those games that's just perfect for the Switch.
Oh, it really is. The Switch is made, isn't it? It's made for this sort of stuff. And it gets it to a bigger crowd than rather it going on Steam and everyone forgetting about it a year or two down the line. What about you, Mike Towns? Have you had a chance to check this one out?
Not to now. I really like the look of it, though.
Yeah, it's almost like they've gone for an even more minimalistic look than the original Flashback.
The green guy reminds me of like something from Abe's Odyssey.
Yes, absolutely. And again, that's nothing but a bad thing. We've got a new Abe's Odyssey-esque game coming out a little bit later on this year. This year? Yeah, I believe it is this year, actually.
I have like old sort of retro gaming formative memories of being like 6 years old, and my brother brought his old DOS computer to my house. Like he'd moved out about a year beforehand, and he stayed up all night finishing Another World, and I woke up every now and then like taking a look at it. Like I picked up Flashback on Switch like recently for like $4. So like I love that sort of rotoscope look.
Yeah, I annoyingly bought it at full price when it first came out, and then it went crazy on sale like a week later. And that limited edition you can pick up now for about 10 or 15 quid.
Oh, that annoys me, that did, because it comes with an American cartridge.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, blue one, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even a bloody SNES game to begin with. It was it's technically a Mega Drive game that got ported to the Amiga and then got ported to everything else.
The Americans don't half love the SNES, though, don't they? Especially when you say it like that, SNES.
It's interesting you mentioned like the D-Res like pixel aesthetic, because that's like, I don't know, it seems to be like the cardinal sin of independent game developers. They look at retro and they think that, I don't know, things just need that few less pixels to look retro. And that just, I don't know, Like, sometimes I absolutely hate this, but then you see these like beautiful cutscenes in this game, and I don't know, it gives me hope that they've actually taken a bit more of a considered approach rather than saying, yeah, exactly, it's got that movement structure to it, and that's enough to annoy most modern gamers, I think. But I also like that. I also like the deliberateness of the movement in those games, so there's definitely something to like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do. I'm not at the stage where I'm getting bored of every indie game having to be pixel based, because looking back, games always tried to look better, even the pixel art style. And you know, it got to a point when they were practically cartoons you were watching, like, you know, when I look at Wario Land, Shake It, or obviously Cuphead and stuff like that, and I feel like that's the true progression to a retro game. So I mean, I would have preferred if they went down either a far more detailed pixel route, or even having it animated. But again, I mean, pushing to the stars there, I mean, that's a huge undertaking.
I think if we kept staying on with sprite artwork, we'd have gone towards something like Sonic Mania. I think that sort of style.
Yeah, well, that was their Sega Saturn version of what they thought of Sonic.
Yeah, I know, but there'd be
yeah.
sprites with far more colours as well as high resolution.
But I've always wanted a fully hand-drawn animated, the same way like they do with like Wario Land, Shake It, and Cuphead and whatever, Sonic the Hedgehog game. It's this.
Well, they tried that, didn't they? They tried it with the Saturday AM artwork for a Mega Drive game, but it got cancelled. Actually, they made a couple.
Yeah, it was the preview video.
I think the biggest crime here is when Ubisoft came out with Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, they essentially created like a sub-brand called UbiArt. They only did a couple of games, which are the aforementioned, and then the game called Child of was it Child of Eden? Or no, something else.
Yeah, and they also did Valiant Hearts as well.
Yeah, that Forza War game, yeah.
I enjoyed that. I completed that.
Oh, Valiant Hearts, yeah. The idea of that was it was a tool set. You could essentially license that out to any game developer, and then be able to use that artwork or the whole idea of building games within that engine. And I would love to have seen a Sonic game in that style. And
oh yeah,
it's criminal that they are not using that at the moment. Yeah.
Like, give me a Valiant Hearts 2, more Rayman Legends stuff, like anything like that. I was so in love with that style. I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, for someone like me, obviously I'm not the mass market, but that's like the best stuff at Ubisoft could have ever done. I absolutely adored that.
Definitely.
But but still, you know, they know exactly what market they're going for with this. The way he walks, the way he slows down when he runs, everything in this new Lunark game looks exactly like Flashback, and then definitely not trying to hide that. So if you're a fan of Flashback, then it's definitely worth keeping an eye out for.
It's just like music, really. I mean, it's just decades repeating upon themselves because people run out of ideas or they get the inspiration. It's just self-perpetuating cycle.
What I've noticed too is like with saying about the sort of pixel art of indie games nowadays, a few years ago, it looked closer to sort of NES, SNES, Master System, even sort of Game Boy looking stuff. But over the last year or so, you got like this, which the colors and the pixels and stuff look closer to a Game Boy Advance game. And there's a lot of stuff looking like PlayStation games now and stuff. So like it's almost catching up as the years go.
I do like it when they push the boundaries, though. Another good example is a game called Valfaris, which is pixel art, but technically not. They cheated it, which is a great thing. My understanding is they tried to do the same sort of animation style that they did for games like the later trilogy of Mortal Kombat games, where it was like, I can't think of the word, how they rotoscoped the character, and then they put a heavy pixel filter over it, so it actually looked like it was just so insanely smoothly animated, but still pixelated. And I just thought that was a really, really clever way of doing it. Yeah, that's another very, very good indie.
Is that a bit like Shaq Fu in that respect?
I suppose so. Yeah. You just found a good thing about Shaq Fu there. Did you play the sequel to Shaq Fu?
No, I bought it because it is in a bargain bin from Game or something. I said it for $5, but I never. Yeah.
It's awful.
I like the fact they spent all that time in the previews mocking the original, and then they made a game that's even worse. How did you manage to do that?
It's like the first. It's essentially like a Streets of Rage game rather than a one-on-one fighter now. And I remember playing it at an expo at Rez, I think it was. And I'm going around, I'm punching people. It felt very generic but very okay. I mean, I love those sort of games. Streets of Rage, what have you. And I instantly walked up to someone to try and grab them, so you can punch them or throw them, whatever. And you just walk through them, and I'm like, come on, they nailed this like back in the 8-bit days, like. Why haven't you even done that? That's such a basic thing.
I bought it on release, like big mistake.
It's quite impressive though that they were able back in the 90s, let alone the Shaq Fu 2, that they were able to market Shaquille O'Neal, basketball star that very few people in Europe really knew about unless they were like deeply into the sport.
Unless they saw Shazam.
Yeah. And it's just that's the true win of Shaq Fu, isn't it? It doesn't matter how bad the game is. The fact that it got Shaquille O'Neal into the minds of like people for even a brief moment was quite impressive.
Yeah, and Mr. Sanchini corrected us. Child of Eden is the Rez guy's game. I'm not going to try and say his name. Tetsui Mitsuguchi. The Ubi Art game is Child of Light.
Let's go crazy!
But firstly, moving over to topic 3, which is actually quite a nice follow-on from the one we're talking about here. So there's a company called Fumi Games, and they are developing a game called Galaxy Taxi. And, like I say, this follows on perfectly. This is a hand-drawn, or at least they're going for that, hand-drawn, animated, as they put it, 90's Cartoon Network art style shmup. It's so obviously inspired by Cuphead. It hurts, but I mean, I can't deny I want more Cuphead. So this is actually a good thing for me. Who has seen this? Grizzly, you have obviously seen this. You were the guy that's put these together. What's your initial thoughts on this?
So I kind of just found this while searching through Twitter. I follow a few indie game feeds because you see some crazy stuff that you either see turn into a Kickstarter project or a final release, or just you never see again. But I saw this game like just this trailer, and I had to say it was just fantastic. And I love the Cuphead aesthetic. I love like 90's Cartoon Network, and that's clearly what they're trying to do here. And I don't know, it just really like stuck out to me as something I want to keep my eyes on. And I've absolutely no idea who Fumi Games are. I don't think they've even had a project before this, and I apologise if anyone from Fumi Games is watching this and going, well, we did this game, but at the end of the day, like, this has caught my interest. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, if it goes anywhere, and make sure you send us a link to your Kickstarter if it goes on there, because I want to support you.
What do you think on this one, King Monkey?
The art style looks amazing, doesn't it? It's right up my street. Definitely interested. I never really got round to playing Cuphead just because the amount of people that told me it's rock solid, and I'm just like, stuff like that makes me throw controllers. So, but yeah, this looks like something I'd like definitely want to get hold of. Just going through their websites, they're the Polish developers that have done like a couple of mobile games before it, but that's it. So I think it's their first big. Looks like it's going to be their first big thing that they're doing.
Yeah, I am. That's the one thing I'm worried about. It definitely does look like it could go one of two ways. It could be another Cuphead, which it's hard to say that it's going to be that, because Cuphead had so much money pumped into it to be able to end up coming out the way it did and, feel the way it does. I mean, the game feels brilliantly. It's such a good, well-controlled game. And I'm hoping it's going to be more like that rather than a mobile-y, flashy-looking game, which it could also fall down into that category as well. So like I say, I hope it's going to be even nearly as good as controlling as Cuphead. Have you checked this one out, Larry?
Is this the game that everybody was moaning about that's a complete knockoff of Cuphead a while ago?
No, you're thinking of a game called Enchanted Portals, which was, yes, a perfect rip-off. This is more of a shmup where you drive for people that are listening and obviously not watching, essentially what you've got, you're driving a taxi. You're flying a taxi actually around the screen and shooting loads and loads of enemies. there isn't much more than that.
Let's go make some crazy money.
So it's just a shmup, but obviously very, very boss heavy, like Cuphead. And what do you think, Mike Towns?
After the Enchanted, I can't remember the one with the witches. Kind of, maybe about this one. Like, I've played a lot of Cuphead too, so that's probably going to add to me getting slightly sick of it. But I guess because of my age, I'm really into that 90's Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon sort of aesthetic, like big lines or the weird, ugly, weird Rugrats look and stuff like that, squiggly lines and such. So, and plus putting the word taxi after something makes me think of Crazy Taxi,
Yes.
and I love Crazy Taxi. So.
I've got to give him credit for calling it Galaxy and spelling it the same way that taxi ends as well. That's nice touch, guys.
Just noticed that, wow.
Very good, very good. So, this is coming soon. Do we know, is this coming as a Kickstarter or is this actually coming as a game? Do we not know yet?
We have absolutely no idea.
Right, okay.
And that's the best part, I think, because it's open. As I say, like these kind of indie threads, they could either go somewhere, it could just be a game jam thing, but it looks to me like there's already been a lot of effort into it, and I can only hope that they will either turn up on PC or maybe get a Kickstarter, see its way onto consoles. At very least, it'll be a mobile game, because that's what they do, from what the other guys were saying. So,
You know what? The way it's moving around, I'm thinking this might be one that you actually move around on a mobile game, with your thumb moving the
it's.
Oh, I hope that's not the case.
Oh, there's button prompts in the top left-hand corner of the video which says LT, so that's a good sign.
It's definitely worth keeping an eye on. If anything newsworthy comes out regarding this, then we will definitely cover it. What sort of Cartoon Network show would you best resemble this to? Maybe something Cow and Chicken-esque, perhaps?
It's got a bit of Hanna-Barbera behind it, so like the 90's Hanna-Barbera cartoons, maybe something along the lines of Courage the Cowardly Dog or Dexter's Lab.
When you said it was 90's style, I thought it was something along the lines of like that Toe Jam and Earl game that came out last year or the year before. Because that had a very sort of Nickelodeon sort of animation style. Ren and Stimpy.
It's like some kind of weird Mandela effect. Like,
it's got a bit of that like roughness to the kind of content which I kind of love. So I don't know. It's It kind of looks like they went for the 1930s thing, then realised that computer animation doesn't quite match up to what the Cuphead guys did. So they just said it's 90s animation just to bring it up to speed. And
For sure. Well, like I say, it's definitely something that we'll keep an eye on. And if anything does, anything newsworthy comes out about this, then we'll definitely cover it again, because it's something that I think is well worth keeping an eye on. As is Crash Bandicoot 4, which was a PlayStation 4 exclusive, but for people out there that can see on the screen, Crash Bandicoot 4 is actually coming out for the Nintendo Switch. It's getting a free upgrade for the PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series ports are also on the way as well. I wasn't able to pick up Crash Bandicoot 4, but I think I'm definitely going to be picking this up. Probably for the PlayStation 5, because I want to try and keep it as nice as I possibly can, even though I am a collector for the Switch. I think it's the PlayStation 5 one. Did anyone else actually hear, is anyone here actually played Crash 4?
No, I tried to get it for Christmas, but Amazon shoved up the price to 50 quid. I thought, no thank you.
Yeah, they did. It was a well expensive game to get, wasn't it?
Disgusting. So I wanted it for Christmas. So annoying me.
So I've got to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of Crash Bandicoot in general, but one thing I do like is where they took the approach that actually making a proper sequel in the same style, like the Sonic guys did with Sonic Mania. It's proving that it's working, that people want to go back to these somewhat rudimentary platformers, whether it be 3D or 2D. Finally, we're getting what we want, really. So I'm actually very tempted to support this. But also, it just goes to show that classic gaming is still around in some form or other. And that's a great sign. I'm hoping we see more stuff like this.
Well, a lot of the young dads out there and stuff would have grown up with the PlayStation 1 era. They're slightly 5 to 10 years younger than myself, being 37. So I think this is probably very much the perfect time to release a follow-up to a series of games from people that remember those PlayStation days. And it's quite exciting in that regard. What I have heard is that this game is absurdly hard to complete compared to the original trilogy, which is a little bit off-putting. You want to have a fun, not easy time, but you don't want to break your back playing a nice 3D platformer game. I mean, I'm definitely going to be picking this up now, for sure. And like I say, probably getting it on the PlayStation 5. You're going to finally grab it now, Larry?
I will do if it's cheap enough. I've been looking on eBay for a PS4 copy that I could upgrade, but they're still going for like 40 quid now. It's annoying.
Yeah. Did they do like a limited run of this or something that made it go up so much? Why is this so much more than, when Death Stranding and that comes out?
I think they're just being scummy. They know everybody would want it for Christmas. There'll be lockdown and stuff, and
shooting that price up.
Yeah, they're trying to hide it behind that Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy as well, trying to confuse people with that. If you type in Crash Bandicoot 4, you get that as well.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I mean, that's probably fair enough, isn't it? The closest search results, and they've done the Crash Team Racing then as well now. So, yeah. Did you like that?
No, well, that was quite scummy as well, because Activision released this game absolutely as it was, and then they stuck a load of microtransactions in as soon as the reviews had come out, so they wouldn't get brought up in the reviews.
Really?
Surprise mechanics.
Yes, and they got into a bit of trouble for that. Yes, so yes.
Oh, yeah, the microtransaction thing. But I will say that they do seem to actually be placing a bit of effort into this, into Crash Bandicoot recently. And, fans of Crash Bandicoot, I'm sure, will show their appreciation and with the support. But, we are dealing with Activision still. So there is that.
They're quite tight with controls about Crash Bandicoot. I mean, they wouldn't let Sony have it for that Smash Brothers game unless they paid an absolute ton of money. What was that game?
All Stars, yeah.
PlayStation All Stars. Yeah, they wouldn't. I mean, Crash Bandicoot's pretty much the mascot of the PlayStation 1.
The unofficial mascot of, yeah.
Sony were insane not to pick up the rights to that. They bought Naughty Dog, but they didn't buy Crash Bandicoot. They're mad.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's obviously sold well enough for them to, continue pushing this out to Crash Bandicoot 4 and obviously the Crash Team Racing after that Insane trilogy. And then obviously start bringing back other things as well, like the Spyro Ignited trilogy. I was never the biggest Spyro fan, in all honesty.
No, I never had it. It was too kiddie for me, so I went.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. Yeah, I was finishing secondary school when that came out, and there was a couple of the girls that were into the PlayStation and stuff. They were all playing it, and I was like, I'm really not feeling this. I think at the time as well, I was a DJ and I was just obsessed with everything Wipeout, but that's a different story. But Spyro never really done much for me, but I do remember putting a stupid amount of hours to 100% Crash Free.
That was a good game, yeah.
That was the perfect Crash game. It's
probably my favourite
time. But yeah, it's coming out to other consoles, as we all predicted, if I'm honest. The same way that they treated it with the original Insane trilogy. I'm just hoping when it comes out in Japan, Sega are publishing it, because I like to get my boxes that have Sega. I'll probably buy that.
And the art is usually fantastic as well. The difference in art between
it's going to have the same artwork in Japan.
Really? Oh, what a shame!
They're using the same character this time. Yeah, it's not going to have that weird look of Crash Bandicoot anymore. And also, they've already got a Crash Bandicoot 4 in Japan. The Wrath of Cortex was called Crash Bandicoot 4 there. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
yes, it was called Crash Bandicoot 4, wasn't it? Yes. So, moving over to our next topic, I'm actually going to let Grizzly take the helm with this, because he knows so much more about it than me. He's the guy that chose the subjects, and he's the guy that knows a lot more about what's been going on with CD Projekt Red. Grizzly, what's going on with CD Projekt?
So it's a bit of a doozy. So over the past couple of days, CD Projekt Red sent out a tweet. So hackers have broken in to the secure servers and have gained access to all of the source code that CD Projekt Red have worked on thus far. So that means that they have full access to the source code of Witcher 3, unreleased code of Witcher 3. So there's a lot of content which hasn't been produced for whatever reason. Then you have Cyberpunk, of course, the Gwent card game. But not only that, it goes a bit deeper because they now have access to all of employee details, administration, legal details. It's an absolute mess. And if you were a games company this is basically the keys to the kingdom that has been stolen. So the hackers left a ransom note. They haven't exactly divulged what the demands are. But what they are saying is if those demands are not met, then the source codes and all of the details will be released publicly. And the hackers are making good on that threat because they've already released the source code of the Gwent card game onto file sharing sites, which I'm not going to give the location of because I'm not sure if I don't agree with this at all.
I think what would be quite nice here is if we are in our angriest, villainous Larry Bundy voice. Would you be able to...
Who, me? Okay, let me just...
Give us a read of the ransom note, Larry.
I have,
Does
yeah.
that sound like a Bond villain?
Go on.
Hello, CD Projekt. You have been epically pwned. Who the fuck uses the word pwned in 2012? We have dumped full copies of the source code from your pre-perforce server for Cyberpunk 2077's Witcher 3 Gwent and the unreleased version of Witcher 3. We have dumped all your documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. We have encrypted all your servers, but we understand that you will most likely recover from backups. If we will not come to an agreement, then your source code will be sold or leaked online, and your documents will be sent to our contacts in gaming journalism. Your public image will go down the shitter even more, and people will see how your shitty company functions. Investors will lose trust in your company, and the stock will dive even lower. You have 48 hours to contact us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Well done, mate.
There you go.
Done.
So, CG Projekt actually responded to the villainous message that went out. Yesterday, we discovered
We will
that
find you.
Say it again.
We will find you and we will kill you. A particular set of skills, etc.
Yesterday, we discovered that we have become a victim of a targeted cyber attack due to which some of our internal systems have been compromised. An unidentified actor gained unauthorized access to our internal network, collected certain data belonging to CD Projekt Capital Group, and left a ransom note, the content of which we released to the public. Although some devices in our network have been encrypted, our backups remain intact. We have already secured our IT infrastructure and began restoring the data. We will not give in to the demands nor negotiate with the actor, being aware that this may eventually lead to the release of the compromised data. We are taking necessary steps to mitigate the consequences of such a release, in particular by approaching any parties that may be affected due to the breach. We are still investigating the incident. However, at this time, we can confirm that to our best knowledge, the compromised system did not contain any personal data of our players or users of our service. We have already approached the relevant authorities, including law enforcement and the president of the Personal Data Protection Office, as well as IT forensic specialists, and we will closely cooperate with them in order to fully investigate this incident. So, according to CD Projekt Red, at least it's not the gamers' data that's going to get leaked. It's their own staff. These guys cannot catch a break.
Well, being a Polish company, they know full well what can happen if they have a breach of GDPR this badly. They're talking about, I think it works out about 40% of your turnover if you get caught out with compromised data like this. It's a massive deal, but most importantly, is
Poland gets invaded.
the impact of such a hack it can't be understated. So now people are able to make copies of the game. That's the basic. People are able to go into the source code, create executables that run alongside the game. So it means that you can run like hacks or malicious software through it. So as much as people are going, well, this might actually mean that the fans can fix the game. I did have a laugh at that one. Or the fans can make modifications for the game a lot easier. Yes, that is true. It can also create a lot of loopholes and a lot of issues you don't really want if you're a fan of the game. But I've seen a lot of celebration for this, and I completely disagree. I think this is an awful way of going about things. And as angry as you could be about CD Projekt Red and the way they handled Cyberpunk 2077's launch, I can't help but feel for the guys, because this is devastating to a business. This could close them down. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, you're someone, Larry, that's been playing Cyberpunk 2077. What have you been playing it on, firstly?
The Xbox Series X.
Is it as bad as everyone's making out?
I've only had one bug in it, and that was it wouldn't. I kept talking to the same NPC, and the game cutscene wouldn't move on from there. So I had to just reset the game, and it was fine again for after that. But I've never had any sort of particular issues like everybody else has had.
Besides hardcore supporter of the show, Mr. Vike Echo, who did have a lot of issues with it when he first tried it out, every single person I know that's played this game, I haven't tried it out myself, has said they've found 1 or 2 bugs at the very most throughout the entire playthrough of the game. And it's just like show reels that you see online of people showing the worst they possibly can, to get the views in and God, whatever else, and really just show up CD Projekt Red. Whether that's true or not, I mean, like I say, I haven't played it myself. I'm just saying what I have heard. But yeah, like I say, these guys cannot catch a break. Straight after that, this has happened, and I fully agree with what you're saying there. There is no reason to celebrate this at all. This is a terrible thing that's happened. And CD Projekt Red definitely should have looked after themselves a little bit more.
Yeah. There is a like a air of caution about all of this. I mean, this could happen to anyone. This could happen to any business. It could happen to any single person. The sheer fact of the matter is, if there's enough of a target on your back, then people will exploit that. And that's the unfortunate side of being on the internet and having such anonymity. And I'm the last person that would suggest removing that anonymity, because I believe it's important, especially when we're dealing with so many other people every day that we don't even realise are watching what you say or what you do. But it's at times like this I go, right, well, if you're going to do your business, if you're going to try and show your disgust at a company, there are better ways and there are other ways to do so, and definitely not like this.
And like you say, this definitely could happen to anyone. Should CD Projekt Red have put more precautions in place? Definitely, but it can happen to everyone. This reminds me back from when Half-Life 2 was hacked, and that was at the time the Cyberpunk 2077 for its time. It was the most, like, everyone was going crazy. Oh my god, it's coming out soon. And Half-Life 2 was it completely leaked? I'm trying to remind myself if it was completely leaked, but it was definitely broken into, and the guy was playing around himself with what he managed to get out of those servers. So this is not good news in the slightest. I feel bad for all the people that have a slightly buggy game.
I feel predominantly sorry for all the people who have now been essentially doxxed and are in some random person's like notepad file with their address on there and their payment details and their credit card information, all of the employee payroll information. This is horrible.
For sure. Have you got anything to add on this one, King Monkey?
Yeah, I'm the same as you guys. There's nothing to celebrate about this. It's just like, it's something that you can imagine if you're the other end of this, your heart's in your mouth because you're wondering what information they've taken, because there's always that thing where you don't know until you look. And like I said, there's no need for, however angry you are at a company, to do what they've done. And like Grizzly's saying, it can shut them down now. Like they're going to have to wait and see what goes on, like how they're going to get judged on it. But it's not like, you're just a scumbag, basically. If you've like, hacking anyone is a scummy thing to do, personally, from my point of view. It's just these people are, they've got no conscience. It's just, why have you, to do this and then just put in demands to a company that, like you say, have already had like the shit kicked out of them. Let's be fair, they've had the worst year.
Yeah, they really have. They got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, they're already on the downer. Now you're just trying to do this. I just think whoever's done it, just I hope they actually get caught, but chances of that's slim, isn't it? And everyone can say, yeah, take precautions. But like you say, anyone, if there's enough people going at you, they're going to find a way around to circumvent your security out there. That's how it works.
Sure. Yeah. I got hacked about 6 months ago or so. I got locked out of my own channel, all my own emails, freaked out big time. Yeah, so there you go. I'm not saying that I've got more precautions in place than CD Projekt Red, but I'm just saying it literally can happen to absolutely everyone. In fact, it's more likely going to happen to the big companies because there's so many people working there. It only takes one person to accidentally click that link and, not realize that the W's a V and, oh my God, where am I going now? And, in those links that come through, they will eventually get through. It's just how weak is your weakest link at your company. And unfortunately, yeah, there you go. Someone got in.
I've had to cancel a credit card last week. Same thing. I got a Data Discs album had been sent to my workplace, where obviously I'm at home now. So they contacted me. By sheer fluke, I had a text message from Royal Mail saying, "Oh, blah blah blah, pay £2.10 to get it redelivered." What are the odds that I've got a piece of mail, and then clicked on this link and it's a freaking spam website that I hadn't. I put my CVV thing. Fortunately, I noticed quick enough, but I had to turn my credit card off, and I can't get through to the fraud team because it's every time I'm on hold for 40 minutes. And like I say, I'm fully aware of how these things work, and even then you just get caught. Like I say, this was just a stupid spam text message.
Yeah, I had a card a few months ago get hacked, and they used it to order something off a menu log.
Yeah, I get those emails. I get those emails all the time. I had 2 yesterday, in fact. And I don't know,
is it the same for you, Larry? I get daily, multiple times in some cases, offers to be sponsors on my channel. If all you got to do is just message me on WhatsApp and we'll get it going.
Yeah, is it that post.cz email address?
It's all the time. I get RUs as well, Russian ones, and it's just so many. And they manage to get through because all my emails go to a personal email. I have my business email at Slopes Game Room website email, and then that actually gets forwarded to my Gmail. So it manages to get through 2 sets of filters, and they still come into my main, not even my spam. It's nuts. But yeah, it happens all the time, and it just takes that one time to click. You think that you're pretty savvy. You can normally see when someone spelt PayPal slightly wrong or whatever it may be. Every time that you do your taxes as a private company, you can almost guarantee within the next week you're going to get a phone call on your phone telling you that someone, literally the police, you need to contact us now. We're going to come around there and arrest you. The first time I ever was worked for myself. The first time that ever happened, I rang them up and I was like, "Whoa, I'm so scared." And then I realized when I was speaking to the guy, I went, "Yeah, this is fake." But it got me that far that it can happen to anyone. It can happen to anyone. But anyway,
I get phone calls every day, answer messages saying Amazon's taken out a yearly subscription thing. If it wasn't correct, please ring up.
There's also one last thing to add from me about the whole CD Projekt situation. People might have noticed that it says CD Projekt and not CD Projekt Red, and that's because this is the Capital Group. So
like the parent company.
So what's significant about that is it's not just the game developer side. It's also site that some people probably already use, which is goodoldgames.com or GOG.com. This affects them as well. And that is, for people who don't know what GOG.com is, it's essentially the PC marketplace like Steam, but it removes digital rights management from the games. And that's where the majority of CD Projekt Red's games get sold, usually for a better discount than you'd find anywhere else. But also a lot of old school PC games, such as like Clive Barker's Undying and hopefully soon Alien vs Predator 2. If this isn't a massive setback.
They do a lot of indie games too.
Definitely, yeah. It's a great bastion for people who want ownership of their PC games, which you just don't get if you buy through the likes of Steam because of everything's hidden behind an account.
Yeah. There's a lot of the complete histories I've done wouldn't exist if it wasn't for GOG. Things like MDK. The only way I could possibly find a way to play MDK was via GOG. The Theme Hospital, Theme Park series were obviously all on there. All of those classic 90s games, for the most part, not all of them. I still don't think there's an easy way to play Beavis and Butthead. The stupid virtuality or whatever it's called.
Virtual stupidity.
That one.
You can play the PlayStation version.
There's only a Japanese one, isn't it? I thought that was a Japanese exclusive.
It is, but you just play,
Is there an English mode on there?
No, it's fully in English. They just dumped it over there. They do a lot of that.
The intro is definitely not. I know, like that Beavis and Butthead and Unreal models. That's all in Japanese, and it's quite funny to listen to it. But yeah. I did a history in the games, and the very first thing I did was show off that intro. So go back and look at that if you want to hear some incredibly fast-speaking Japanese person read the intro to the Beavis and Butthead show. You can, but it's a good site. It's especially for PC retro gamers, you can find so much on there you cannot literally find anywhere else. So
the bundles are good too.
They are indeed, and so we're obviously all in agreement. Say what you want about Cyberpunk 2077, which definitely does seem to be blown out of proportion a fair bit. CD Projekt definitely do not deserve it. No. So on to something a lot more upbeat. Quite a quick topic, this one, but something that I'm very, very passionate about. Rez Infinite creator is getting a next-gen follow-up. So I'm going to completely butcher his name, as I always do in all of my complete histories. Tetsuya Mitsuguchi, which actually I think that is the right way you pronounce that. But he's the guy that created the original Rez. Among other games, we're talking Child of Eden, that Fantasia game that came out. Tetris Effect? Yes, that's right. Did he have anything to do with Panzer Dragoon, or am I making that up? It just seems like a very similar game. I didn't know if there was something to do with that. But either way, yes, there's a new one coming out. They're very, very early stage of development, as he actually puts it himself. This came out in an interview for Japanese magazine Famitsu. And it's starting its life as a PlayStation 5 project. Stupidly excited. And yes, thank you very much, Mr. Sanchini, in the chat. Yes, he also was a part of the Lumines series, which is utterly fantastic.
And so does that mean he worked on the Tetris Effect as well?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, Tetris Effect.
So
yes.
his classic Sega properties, because he's pretty much Sega through and through up until the PS2 era. Mm-hmm. He worked on Sega Rally Championship, Manx TT Superbike, Sega Rally 2, Star Wars Trilogy Arcade, and of course both Shenmue and Space Channel 5.
Yay, Space Channel 5. Awesome. Yeah, I should know this. I've done histories on these videos, but there you go. This is nothing but a good thing. I'm sure King Monkey's loving the fact that this one's coming.
Yeah, it'll persuade me to actually buy a console. I'll make my decision based on that, because I'm not in a rush to get anything next gen right now. Well, PS5 or
right.
Xbox. There's nothing on there that entices me right now, but something like this is something that would sway me whether I go one way or the other.
Would you a big Rez or Space Channel 5 fan or anything like that?
Space Channel 5 actually put on my Instagram just this week, which is a bit of a coincidence. Yes, Rez I never played, never got around to playing. So right. I didn't have a Dreamcast when the Dreamcast was actually out. I bought the Dreamcast pretty much when it was dead in the water and got loads of cheap stuff. So I never got around to playing Rez.
To be fair, that was the time when that game came out, wasn't it? I remember Rez was a very late title in the Dreamcast life.
It came out, it was still, didn't it not have the vest or something?
The trance vibrator, hands up who had one of them.
That's the thing, yeah.
But that was a PlayStation 2 accessory rather than a Dreamcast accessory, if I'm not mistaken.
I bought one of them.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's literally a love egg, isn't it?
It's a square thing, yeah. I don't know what you're supposed to do with it exactly.
Oh wow!
It's literally, you're supposed to essentially sit on it. So that's what I'm saying. It is literally a love egg. You're supposed to clench it onto your skin so that all it does, it just vibrates. It's a vibrator that you would have inside your controller, but it's in an egg shape. It's just
very popular with the ladies, so they said.
There are videos online of when that first came out with ladies testing it, and they got the views. They got the views.
I'm sure they did.
Maybe I need to buy one of these Rez Love Eggs and sit on it, get some views as well. That'd be good. Yeah. And little did you know, guys, for the last 2 hours I've been sitting on this, and then I'll lose all my subs. And
every time I speak, I get a buzz.
I have got I've got the vest. Not there wasn't a Rez one, but I got like this vibration vest thing that was like you're supposed to like feel the impact of when you get shot and punched. Yeah.
I did the artwork for that.
Did you?
Yeah, well, they re-released it in the early 2000s. Daytel they picked up the rights to it, and they're going to re-release it, and I've done the artwork for them for it.
Oh, brilliant!
There you go.
Anime artwork, yes.
I've always wanted one of those.
But I love the Sun done a review of it, and because it was like £250 when it first came out, and the Sun said it's just cheaper to go out and have a fight with someone.
Good old the Sun, back in the old page 3 days.
Yeah.
But the sales have gone down since then. But yeah, I mean, a new Rez, a follow-up to Rez. You know what style of game they're going for. Like everything he's done since Rez has pretty much been that, hasn't it? Yeah, this is
Cool. I mean, I just hope they don't default to it just being the original Rez, but here's an extra level, because they've done that kind of twice now. Mm-hmm. I loved what they did with Area X, and from the press release from the interview in Famitsu, sorry, not press release, because I'm surprised this hasn't gone wider, but from what they have said, at the Area X VR level, that was created exclusively for PSVR and then later ported to the PC and Oculus Quest, that is essentially a prequel or the sign of things to come, and that level was amazing because it wasn't like the rail shooter Rez. It was a full-on explorable space where you see loads of stuff going on and interact with everything. So
even better in VR.
Yeah, even if it isn't called
like all range mode.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's like Star Fox 64 all range mode in Rez, which is everyone should be really excited about. But even if the next project isn't called Rez, even if it isn't, I'm really excited to see what they do, because no one does like this visual aesthetic thing with music quite like Tetsuya Mitsuguchi. I feel like him.
Is this the same guy that did Vib Ribbon?
Unfortunately not, no.
No, I believe so.
Okay, yep.
I'd love to see what he would do if you could like import your own music and it developed visualizations based on that. But I'm just going to sit here and dream about that now. Unfortunately,
if they did that, it'd be something, because didn't PlayStation during the PlayStation 4, because I remember Cad Icarus actually had an email go out from PlayStation themselves where he had his playlist of music that he chose for the PlayStation 4. They had like Prodigy and stuff like that on there, but it was basically their own Spotify. And I do feel like if they did their own music, it would obviously be heavily integrated to whatever that thing was, even if it is still a thing. But yeah, follow up to Rez. Go on, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that? Like you say, more Rez, not the same Rez plus one extra level. That's what we want. That's what we want.
For sure.
Which finally brings us into our final topic. Well, that was our final topic. This finally brings us into our final bit of information, which is our Kickstarter of the week. And technically, this is one you can't even back, but you can still pre-order it. Battle Axe. The amazing looking Battle Axe, which heavily has a lot of the guys on there from the incredible Xeno Crisis, which I was playing a little bit earlier on tonight. Again, if Xeno Crisis came out 20 years ago, it would be in every single Mega Drive fan's top 5 games of all time. Guaranteed. It's a fantastic, fantastic game and one of the best soundtracks on the system. Well, those guys are working on a sort of, what would you say this is? Like a Herc's Adventure, Zombies Ate My Neighbors top down.
It's got a bit of
Gauntlet type game.
Yeah, it's got a bit of like a Golden Axe, but like Zombies Ate My Neighbors vibe to it, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the action RPG kind of mixture.
So stunning. Again, people doing pixel artwork again, but it's like the best it can be. It's so beautiful.
I like how it's called Battle Axe, and you're saying how it's sort of a action RPG Golden Axe, and the first thing I thought of was Axe Battler.
Right.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the game's gone gold, so it's coming very, very soon. In fact, for people that are watching this live, check out this Twitch channel tomorrow, because there's going to be it's only about 10 minutes long, but they're doing a preview of it, because Numskull were the people that actually picked it up to become the publishers of this game. They're going to do a little sort of Nintendo Direct showcase of some upcoming games, and there's a nice big heavy section based entirely on this. So this is this is right up there with my most anticipated games of 2021. It just screams me all over. I cannot wait for this.
Looks like Zelda Dark Souls.
Oh, for sure.
Well, it looks great. I mean, the animation, the fluidity of everything, and just the detail of the graphics just looks fantastic. It just looks like it's going to be a great time.
Sure.
I really look forward to playing this one.
And you backed it, didn't you, Grizzly?
I often say I'm going to back things and never get round to it, but I will definitely pre-order the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did anyone else in the
the
chat
same.
here back this one? Just me.
Yeah, I'm getting that.
Oh, you did, yeah? Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's
Yes.
stunning. And this is the first time I'm actually looking through this footage completely on my own, and I know my name's going to be in there somewhere. Maybe not in this footage, but I am going to be one of the hostages. And man, I'm not going to stop playing this until I find myself in there. Well excited.
Yeah, I've been told the same. So yeah, I missed that on Xenocrisis. So yeah, this time around I'll be looking.
For sure. There you go. Amazing.
It's random, isn't it? How it comes up.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Which makes it better, because obviously if you're like crap at games and your name's on like level 7 of Xenocrisis or whatever, you're never going to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even if you're good at games, you aren't getting that far in Xenocrisis. It's solid.
It's a hard game. Few people have completed
So
that.
yeah, it's nice that it's random. But yeah, the pixel art on this thing is just ridiculous, isn't it?
It's so good.
It's just on another level.
What do you think of this one, Larry?
Well, I need to see more of it, to be honest. I only saw the preview of it the other day, but it does look quite interesting.
Nothing but a good thing, and the guys that are working on this are all fantastic. Also, massive shout out to a guy I know called Lee, aka Featurecast, who's actually mastering the soundtrack as well. Like one of my favourite DJs and producers out there at the moment. I support him on Patreon, and you guys should too. Very, very good. But yeah, there you go. Very excited about this. Nothing but a good thing. Thumbs up all round. Thanks for listening to Slopes Cast, the retro gaming news show recorded live on Twitch on the 11th of February 2021. If you want to listen in live, the next recorded episode will be on the 18th of February 2021 over on twitch.tv/Slopes Game Room at 10 PM UK time and 2 PM Pacific Standard Time. As standard, if you would like the chance to be in a future episode, then please do consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. And finally, if you have any news stories for me, then feel free to drop them in a dedicated room over on Discord at discord.gg/Slopes Game Room. And until next time, guys, this is DJ Slopes signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time.